Hey, what's up everybody? It's your favorite e-boy Gumball coming at you again with a bonus video today. I showered and all that shit, so I look fresh. I feel fresh in this deck. It's fresh. Straight out of my asshole, I created Salamence VMAX. No help from anybody. Definitely my 100% my own creation. Don't bother looking it up because it's 100% true. Salamence VMAX Tapu Koko Prism is a deck that was theorized right before rotation. It was tested a little bit, and a lot of people just chalked it up as, well, Senna Scorch just hits harder. It has Welder. And you could play Salamence Welder, but then it's just entirely worse than Senna Scorch. So there's this version of the deck, which is a little more interesting than just Welder, attach, and then attack. At the very least, it does more things. So what does Salamence VMAX do? Well, for a single colorless energy, you snipe 20. Or you snipe 2 things for 40. I don't know why I said 20, what the fuck. It's basically like linear attack, but times 2. And max wings for 4 colorless energy, just swings for 240. So, it is very reminiscent of Tina Chomp, because it has a 1 energy attack that snipes for 40, and then its second attack needs a bunch of setup to do 240. However, unlike Tina Chomp, which is a deck that has been running around recently, you don't need to have damage in play already. You're also not a tag team, so you have 50 more HP, and being all colorless energy to attack, you have a lot more outs to do it. So, I think this card is kind of better than Tina Chomp. At the very least, if Tina Chomp is playable and is doing decently in events, I think Salamence can do it too. So Baby Salamence is a decent card, but it doesn't matter in this variant because you don't have a way to use Swoop Across. Swoop Across for 3 colorless just snipes everything for 30. It's a good attack, there's just no way to really use it in this deck. So yeah, we're running a 4-4 Salamence line. You absolutely need to get this out turn 2. If you don't have Salamence VMAX out turn 2, you lose. I promise you. You might still win if you get lucky, but just assume you're going to lose if you don't have it out by turn 2. So we're running a 4-4 line, again, for consistency. If you don't have it turn 2, you probably lose. We're running the Jirachi engine. Reason being, Scoop Up Net has a lot of synergy with a lot of things that you could play in Salamence, namely Zigzagoon and Jirachi for consistency. Stellar Wish, you already know what this card does. It's Trainer's Mail if it's active and it puts itself to sleep. 2 DAA. You kind of have the option of 2 DAA versus 2 Crobat. Because you can tingle your turn with DAA, I do think it's better. Also, this is a deck that really, really needs to manually draw energy. I don't play a way to search for energy. I could. Piers has always been, like, my 62nd, 63rd card. Because it finds your Zigzagoon, your Crobat, and you can search an energy. So, it's always there, but because there's just not enough space to really run Piers, and Crobat doesn't dig as hard as DAA, I think that combined with Tingler Return is enough reason to run 2 DAA over 2 Crobat. Kind of the same reason every other deck is running 2 DAA, 1 Bat, instead of 2 Bat, 1 DAA. DAA is just better. Both are very good. Crobat is still very good. You're still going to play Crobat, because you can use both in the same turn. But that being said, if you need to run a second copy of either or, you're probably going to run the DAA. Because DAA is better. Yeah, it is better. The only new card that this deck got was the Altaria. And I've actually been waiting for this for a while. Because a lot of issues that Salamence VMAX has is solved on paper by Altaria. Now, this isn't heavily tested, so a 1-1 Altaria might not be enough. You probably could cut a 1-1 Salamence line for a second Altaria, just because Altaria is that solid. But basically, it's just Safeguard on a stage 1 with 110 HP. And for 2 colorless, you do 60. The reason why that's really good is that Salamence really needed a 1-prizer that can make use of Triple Excel. But you also want an attacker that can make use of Tapu Koko plus manual attachment. Altaria happens to be colorless, so Powerful Energy works on it. Every single way you have to attack with Salamence VMAX works on Altaria, and that's very good for a 1-prizer. And Another issue that Salamence VMAX has is that it kind of just got walled out by Zamazenta and you couldn't do anything about it. Now you wall Zamazenta. And that's huge. Because not only do you have an out to Zamazenta, you straight up beat it. Because ADPZ, I don't think, has a single way to get around it except Mawile and Prey. Now, if they do get an early Mawile, then yes, they do have a way to just win the game. But if they just put down a bunch of one-prizers, I can just scoop them up to just leave Altaria. That's another reason Altaria is very good in this deck, is because you're already running the Scoop Up Nets. You can scoop up non-Altaria targets. And that's another reason that running a second line could probably be beneficial. And, what other reason was... I forget what else was an issue with Salamence. I think it was just other VMAXs in general. Also, that's right, setting up. That was the other issue with Salamence. Against other fast VMAX decks, you have issues just setting up. Because if you don't get your energy attachment, if you miss an energy attachment or a KO, they can just gust your Salamence for a turn, and then you just lose 3 prizes without really doing anything with it. So if you need to, you can just go into Altaria. Again, this deck is very space tight. Otherwise, I would play a second Altaria line. I don't know what I would cut, other than at least one of the Salamence lines. Like, maybe at least a Salamence VMAX is probably the first cut for, like, a second Swablu or something. Or like, a Rod if I can't find a second cut. Anyway, one Zigzagoon. I was running 2. I don't think you need 2. Usually the 40-40 snipe with Salamence is enough. But on VMAXs specifically, if they're on the bench, if they're setting up a bench Pokemon, the Powerful Energy doesn't work until they're active. So you have to Sonic Double, and then Max Wings with a Powerful Energy only does 260. That's only 300 total. So a Zigping and then a Scoop Up Net into a second Zigping is usually going to get you there. Prizing it really sucks, so that also might be a card that I want to run a second copy of. Also, I'm just going to take off the beanie. It's really tight on my head. Yeah. And then one Giratina. This is a cuttable card. I don't think there's a specific reason to run it. It's kind of the same reason Scorch runs it, almost. Like, it's good against Mewtwo to get rid of the Horror Energy, which actually does matter. Because if you swing into Horror Energy, they can Flare Blitz and KO Salamence. Also, why is this one little dingly hair? I don't know why my hair is just doing that. Anyway, ignore that. What other reason do I run Dimension Breach? There's another deck that I'm just blanking hella hard right now. But it's good against other Altaria, because they pretty much only... If straight Altaria only plays Special Energy, and, like... I've seen variants running Dojo, I've seen variants running Koko Prism, or at least heard talk of them. It works against those. Again, Giratina is a cuttable card. If you do cut it, it would probably go back into the Altaria line or a second Zigzagoon. And then Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo's better than Eldegoss because you're on nets. This isn't a deck that you really need to gun for supporters every single turn, so you can just afford to Mind Report and wait for the following turn to get your supporter. And that's the Pokemon line. Oh, yeah, Koko Prism. The reason you're in Koko Prism, I don't like Koko Prism that much. I don't think it's necessary. However, it is very good because there are games where you would win if you just had one more energy on board. Just because that can get, like I said, you can get your Tinglier turn off. That's the only GX attack option. And it's actually not a bad one either because it does set up Max Wings KOs. But if you do miss one of your early attachments, that means late game you can also be down a single energy, and you could find the triple excel, but be down 1 energy to Max Wings for game. And that's kind of an issue that's happened a lot. So hopefully you don't have Koko in the discard early on. You have 4 comms, so you can put Koko back easily. Or also because we're running a thick Pokemon line, comm is really good here. Although I do suppose that you could cut it down to 3, I don't want to. Again, this is just theoretical cuts for more space. 4 Quick Ball, absolutely necessary. 4 Net, absolutely necessary. 4 Switch, absolutely necessary. The core of just 4 Calm, 4 Quick, 4 Net, 4 Switch is just so solid. It's such a good consistency lineup because you know what to expect. You expect to draw into almost all your stuff. The only interesting thing about this deck is more or less the Pokemon lineup and the 2 tools. 2 Swell. You don't want other stadiums to be in play. You don't want Earth to be in play. You don't want Dark City to be in play. And you don't want your opponent's Viridian to be in play. However, if it is in play before your Swell, it actually helps you. So if they get Viridian for 1 turn, you get to find your Lightning Energy, then Swell them. Energy lineup, 4 Triple Excel, 4 Powerful Energy, 2 Lightning. Powerful Energy is just strong energy for colorless Mons. Like I said, you get to max wings for 260 instead of 240. And Sonic Double turns into 60 if you hit the active. So that Scope tool combined with Powerful Energy is going to be very cool. I'm very interested to see how that turns out with Salamence. And then just 4 Triple Excel. A lot of times you're going to be manually attaching then Sonic Doubling before you use max wings. Except against like ADP Z, I guess, where you just one-shot Zacians, or 2 Zigpings and a Powerful Energy, you one-shot ADP, stuff like that. But for the sake of Koko Prism consistency, you could run 3 Lightning. I actually wouldn't be opposed to it, because there are times where I wish I had the 11th Energy. The 2 tools, we're running 1 Big Charm and 1 Parasol. Parasol is there because there are energy and disruption attacks like Inteleon, Torkoal, just random shit that you don't want to just lose to. The big ones are energy disruptors because you are so reliant on keeping your manual attachment after the Sonic Double that if it gets discarded, you almost always just lose. It's also a way to just definitely wall stuff with Altaria, because that way Zamazenta doesn't just go in and discard your lightning and your special energies. It's a big problem with Luke Metal specifically, because after Goggles and Full Metal Wall, you don't do any damage to Zamazenta. So if you have Parasol attached to the Altaria, they can't discard your special energy, so with Powerful Energy, you do at least 20. 20 to Zamazenta is a lot more than 0. Even though you're like 11-shotting it, it's better than not getting the KO at any point and just getting walled out and losing. However, that does turn into a slight issue with Duraludon if they play it, because Duraludon does one-shot Altaria without Big Charm. So that's another reason well, I guess that's a good transition to Big Charm. Big Charm, the 30 plus is actually pretty big. On Salamence, it means that Centiskorch needs, I think, 8 energy, right? 7 times 4, 28, 32. Yeah, they need 8 energy to KO a Salamence. It also makes it harder for Eternatus to kill with Zigpings. I originally was trying Hood, then I was like, wait a minute. If they Zigping before I Hood, then it doesn't matter. But if I'm going to play a tool to prevent getting KO'd by Zigpings, I just play Big Charm, so it works on other things too. So the single Big Charm is for very specific math on the Salamence. It's also there, so stuff like Baby Volcanion doesn't one-shot Altaria. So if I did play, again, if there were more space, I would like a second Big Charm. You could theoretically cut Parasol if it's not going to be an issue. There's also Full Metal Wall, too. Full Metal Wall discarding your energy is very bad. So, as of right now, the one of Parasol is staying. I can't really think of a reason to cut it except for just put in the second Big Charm. But, yeah. What else? You run... Ooh. There we go. Sorry, my game was acting funny. We run 2 Boss, 3 Marnie, 4 Research. Just 2, 3, 4. Easy, simple. If I were to run a 1 of Supporter, it would be a Bird Keeper. There's not really space to run Stamp and Marnie, or Stamp and Bird Keeper, because Stamp is only really efficient if you have 2. I think you just need to go 3 Marnie. I think this deck would appreciate Stamp, but again, it is very, very, very tight with space. It's really hard to fit everything you want into this deck. So I wouldn't say that this is an optimal list, but this is something that I've been working on in my free time. If you guys have any ideas, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'm not going to play any games today. Like I said, I uploaded today. This is a bonus video. We're just doing deck profile. I do plan on testing this a bit more. Maybe it'll get its own full-length video. But, yeah, that's it. I can't really think of anything else to add on. More draw support. You can afford to only play 2 boss because you have the Mewtwo. I would like 4 Marnie, but again, the Mewtwo makes things a lot easier. mess with Altaria. Altaria is a good card. Anyway, don't forget to check out my Twitch. I'll be streaming really soon after uploading this, so keep an eye on that link in the description. Peace.